Hi everybody, it's me again. And yes, this is a late, overdue video, but at the same time, better late than never. And, well, before I get into it, I will say I am going to do my top top 3 lists of good animated good Disney animated sequels, but for now, I want to do this one before, well, any more time runs out. Um, I'm going to talk about one of my, I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the actors that really inspires me. He's not my all-time favorite actor, but I'd say he's my second favorite actor, or comedian, whichever you like to call it. I'll talk about my number one favorite actor, comedian, another time. Today, I'm going to talk about Robin Williams, what I think of him, what he's meant to me, and what he continues to mean to me. I I'm probably not going to do him much justice in this video. So let's get into how I first knew about him. Well, one of the I mean, we all grew up with him one way or another, or most of us did. Perhaps you grew up with him as the genie. Perhaps you grew up with him in Fern Gully. Perhaps you grew up with him in AI, or you grew up with him in. You put in the comments below what you grew up with him as. But for me, I grew up with him as Peter Pan in Hook, or should I say adult Peter Pan in Hook, which I believe is a criminally underrated movie. Yeah, it's very cheesy looking back at it, but at the same time, I think it's a really good movie, a really good standalone movie. And I don't consider it one of Robin Williams' best movies, but definitely it is one of my favorites, or personal favorites. Where basically he plays grown-up Peter Pan, who is a lawyer and has to rescue his kids from Hook, who somehow is still alive. Yes, the movie should have explained that, as well as many other things. But at the same time, well, he pulled it off in a very believable way. I mean, heck, just looking at him, you could really say that he was Peter Pan in an adult body. I mean, many people say that about Michael Jackson, but I think that that's Robin Williams as well. I mean, he pretty much felt like an adult, a Peter Pan lost in an adult body. And I also, I tried to watch as many Robin Williams movies as I could, well, as much as I was allowed. Like, the only other movie that I saw as a kid with him in it was Robots, which was okay. I mean, I barely remember it. I even barely remember his character, other than he was energetic and he was excitable. But whenever I watched any Disney movies, I could never get past the Aladdin trailers, whether it was for Aladdin 1, 2, 3. I mean, yeah, he wasn't in the second one, but I didn't know that at the time. But yeah, he, I knew what kind of energy he brought, and originally, I mean, I didn't know who Robin Williams was. I just knew the characters that he played. And eventually, one time, I can't remember if I was 10 or below 10, but Papa came up to me and pointed at the Hook VHS player. I pointed at the VHS tape with Hook in it and said, that's Robin Williams. He plays the genie. And I'm like, him? No, 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 no. That's not him. That's not Robin Williams. But to my amazement, it was him. And that was another thing I loved about him. Just the way he could morph into different characters. He wasn't physically animated like Jim Carrey, but he was vocally animated, and he was also energized. Like, he was an unstoppable force. It is just intriguing to watch him do anything he did. He might have been physically animated when he was younger, but the movies I grew up with, he was more vocally animated, and his body would kind of complement it. He didn't go over the top like, again, Jim Carrey, except in his voice. It was pretty cool to watch and to listen to. And when I finally did get to see the genie, I get to see Robin Williams as the genie when I was, well, late teens, early 20s. Yeah, I saw Aladdin at last at that age. I was pretty much taken aback at what a masterful genius he was in that role. I mean, he was just completely unstoppable. Like, pencil sketches were not going to limit his comedy. I, I was almost wondering if the animators were trying to keep up with him, or what was going on, or if he had control of the animation department. But the most I know about it was that they animated one of his talks on schizophrenia, and the way they did it somehow made him laugh hard. And well, if an animator could make Robin Williams laugh so hard, you know you're doing something right. And well, and the rest is history, of course. And well, I also often wonder what his script looked like. I mean, I have no doubt what the voice actors for Jasmine and Aladdin and Jafar scripts look like, but I want to know what what Robin Williams' script looked like, or if it just said, okay, be sure to include these lines at least, and the premise is there's a boy trapped inside the Cave of Wonders. He just freed you, and he's got a pet monkey and a talking rug with him. Have at it. I mean, that's probably how it went. I mean, let me know in the comments below what happened, because I'm seriously intrigued. So, even on a bad day, he got me laughing. I mean, like, you could not put enough duct tape on me to make me not laugh at him. He was just that hilarious, and he gave it his all. I mean, not at the museum. He gave what he was required. But he made a pretty good Roosevelt. But and we have to get into I still remember the day he died and what had happened. I remember coming home from work, and going on my Facebook page, and the headline news was there: Robin Williams dead at 63, and I was in complete shock. I mean, he wasn't my favorite actor at the time or anything. I mean, I appreciated him, I loved him, but Robin Williams was dead. How hard is that to say? And harder yet, how hard is it to say that he committed suicide? That was even worse. That day, I did not know that he committed suicide. In fact, it was not until the next day that I heard rumors about it. My co-workers were lining up, getting into work, and I could hear them say, "Did you hear that Robin Williams committed suicide?" I'm like, no, that can't be. He would not do that. He's the happiest guy I know. But he did. And we learned why later. I mean, and it was not until his wife eventually um, revealed to them what was going on, and it was it was very sad to watch, and the whole world, and a not just not just one country, not just one city, but the whole world gave tribute and paid tribute to this man that made them laugh so hard, even in the darkest moments of their lives. And that's one thing I've always loved about him, and what means the most to me is that even in his toughest moments, he used laughter not just as a defense mechanism, but also as a way to entertain and make you feel good. I, and that's what I love about him, and that's what I want to be like sometimes. No, not just sometimes, a lot. It really inspired me to go out and be friendly, be joyful, be joyful to people, and make jokes along the way. This is why you might find me at work making jokes a lot, whether good or bad. And if they can make one person laugh and make their day meaningful, that's gonna make me happy too. And I thank God every day that we had Robin Williams and that we had an example of someone who could make the world a little bit of a better place through laughter, through kindness. And what do I mean by kindness? Well, he did things like he went out to the army base where people were missing their families, and he would entertain them and help them feel better. And as somebody who does not live with her family anymore, I very much can appreciate that a lot. And I heard about this story where where he was behind the scenes on Flubber, and there was a boy who was very, very sick at the time, and he went out of his way to not only give him a cameo on Flubber. I mean, he's in the audience of a basketball game, from what I've heard. But he also went out of his way to spend time with him, make him joyful, make him feel good, and even gave him the actual Flubber prop, or at least I think that's what he did. I forget. Remind me in the comments. I appreciate that. And I remember after his death, it was hard for me to watch his movies. It was painful. But when I rewatched another one of his movies, Mrs. Doubtfire, something I saw in high school, I think in 10th grade English class. Don't ask me why it was shown in English class. I remember laughing hard, feeling good again. It took me months before I could finally watch his movies again and not feel so much pain or stillborn tears that I had at the time. And I still remember that makeup. I mean, you know how like in movies sometimes you'll look at an actor, whether live action or cartoon, you'll just look at them and be like, okay, we know that's not the Green Goblin, that's Willem Dafoe, or that's not Nick and that's not Nick, that's Tobey Maguire, or sorry Jack, but we know that you're Leonardo DiCaprio, etc., etc., etc. Often we can be like, often we're like that for Robin Williams, or at least I am. Whenever it comes to some of his movies, I know who Robin Williams is. I look past the character and see the actor. When it came to Mrs. Doubtfire, or at least when he had to put the makeup on, I kept looking for traces of Robin Williams. I'm like, okay, buddy, where are you? Where are you? But he was gone. Robin Williams was gone and replaced by Mrs. Doubtfire, an elderly English lady. And I'm like, this is incredible. Even to this day, that makeup still holds up. It is that incredible. Whoever did the makeup, you need 10 Oscars. Or 20 Oscars. Just get so many Oscars. That one was just so good. And I hope that this one was one of his Academy Award nominated films. But yeah, it reminded me of how much I loved him. I loved his some of his movies. I haven't seen all of his movies yet. I've still yet to finish up Fisher King, and, well, Good Will Hunting is his Academy Award winning film, and that one has got to be a must-see. And that's the most I want to say about Robin Williams and why he has meant so much to me. Why he is my second favorite actor. You just take one look at this guy and you cannot help but laugh. Maybe unless it was one of his more serious moments, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful to God that we had Robin Williams and that God gave us such a man. I only wish that he could have been with us longer. Maybe we could have, that he could have seen how much he's influenced us. Maybe he already has. Maybe he still can, wherever he is. And, what was your favorite Robin Williams movie? What'd you like about him? I'd love to hear about it. And good night, everybody!